Olivia de Havilland was often called the gentlest face of classic Hollywood, a woman whose clear, luminous eyes and calm, measured voice made audiences believe she was naturally kind and obedient. Yet behind that beauty lay a fierce, uncompromising spirit. She did not simply walk onto the screen, she walked into court and challenged Hollywood's power structure, forcing the industry to acknowledge that actors were human beings, not property. Her story is not only one of fame and awards, but also of loneliness, sacrifice, and a quiet rebellion that changed the studio system forever. In the glow of the spotlight, she was praised for self-sacrifice and sweetness. Behind the scenes, she was paying a far higher price: isolation, career punishment, and a lifelong struggle to remain true to herself. Her life became a paradox, an actress celebrated for tenderness who had to fight with cold resolve to gain her freedom. Early life, the first cage was family. Olivia Mary de Havilland was born in Tokyo in 1916 to a British family living abroad. Her early childhood was split between East and West, yet that balance was fragile. Her parents' marriage collapsed when she was still very young, and her father left the family. Olivia and her younger sister Joan were taken to California by their mother, a strong-willed and severe woman who ruled the household with discipline rather than affection. Every gesture was watched, every emotion controlled. When a stepfather entered the home, the pressure intensified. He openly despised acting and demanded obedience. In this environment, Olivia learned early how to stay silent under authority and how to survive through solitude. She also learned to compete, as the sisters were constantly compared and pushed into rivalry. For Olivia, the stage became her only refuge, an escape where she could breathe and exist as herself. When her mother issued an ultimatum, stop acting or leave, Olivia chose independence, stepping into loneliness at a young age. The first break, a star is forced into existence. After leaving home, Olivia's life did not become glamorous, it became more demanding. She worked her way into professional theater, where she was chosen as an understudy in Max Reinhardt's production of A Midsummer Night's Dream at the Hollywood Bowl. She was not meant to be seen. She was the backup plan. But fate intervened. Days before the performance, the lead actress withdrew, and Olivia was forced onto the stage with no room for retreat. Her performance was strong enough to catch Reinhardt's attention, and she was remembered as a serious talent rather than a lucky accident. This led to a contract with Warner Brothers in 1934-35, a deal that granted her a place in the studio system but stripped her of control. Her voice was deemed too English and altered. Her appearance was adjusted by studio technicians. Her public persona was shaped by executives. She learned how power operated in Hollywood, not through violence, but through invisible control. The golden cage, beauty that becomes a trap. Olivia's first major success came with Captain Blood, 1935, where she starred opposite Errol Flynn. The film became a surprise hit and instantly turned both actors into stars. But while Flynn was celebrated for freedom and daring, Olivia was molded into a specific ideal: the gentle, loyal heroine who supported the male lead. Warner Brothers realized they had found a profitable formula. Olivia and Flynn's chemistry sold tickets. She was repeatedly cast as the same kind of woman: soft, refined, quietly heroic. Her roles became a series of variations on the same character, and her talent was trapped inside a muse identity. The more audiences adored her, the more the studio tightened the mold around her. She grew increasingly aware of the way the camera favored Flynn, the way her own presence was used to enhance another's power. Her success was also her limitation, and she began to feel the bitter truth. The industry loved her, but only as long as she stayed within the cage. The rise of Melanie, a role she fought to get the chance to break free, came when Gone with the Wind offered her the role of Melanie Hamilton. It was not glamorous, not central, and not the kind of role Warner Brothers wanted to support. The studio feared that a new image would disrupt the formula they had built around her. But Olivia was determined. She lobbied, persuaded, and fought for the part, insisting that she could be more than the delicate heroine. Once filming began, the production proved brutal. The shoot was long, the pressure intense, and the direction constantly shifting. In the chaos, Olivia and Vivien Leigh found an unexpected bond. They supported each other, studied lines together, and built their characters with quiet diligence. Olivia's Melanie emerged through endurance, compassion, and strength, rather than spectacle. When the film premiered, her performance was praised as a rare example of inner depth in a world of spectacle. The Oscar nomination confirmed her talent, but the win went to Hattie McDaniel, an outcome that, at first, felt like a personal defeat. A new rivalry, success, that reopened old wounds. While Olivia's career reached new heights, her sister Joan Fontaine's success was also rising. Joan won the Oscar for Suspicion in 1942, creating a reversal of power between the sisters that reopened childhood rivalries. Olivia's own win for To Each, his own in 1947, did not repair the relationship. It deepened the wounds. When Joan congratulated her at the ceremony, Olivia turned away, a brief moment that became a lasting symbol of their unresolved conflict. Their rivalry wasn't born in Hollywood. It began in childhood, fueled by comparison, jealousy, and the need to be the better sister. As adults, their successes became public battlegrounds, and the press amplified every small sign of tension. Their mother's death in 1975 finally pushed their conflict into open hostility, with accusations, public letters, and bitter disputes. Their relationship never healed. When Joan died in 2013, Olivia offered a quiet statement. No reconciliation, no bitterness, only silence. A return to art, triumph through pain. When Olivia returned to film, she chose roles that challenged both her craft and the audience's moral conscience. In To Each His Own, she played a woman denied motherhood, a character who lived her pain with quiet restraint. Her performance was not theatrical, it was controlled, precise, and devastating. The film succeeded, and she won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1947. Next came The Snake Pit, where she portrayed mental illness with terrifying realism. She spent time in treatment facilities, observed patients, and brought authenticity to a role that forced audiences to confront the failures of psychiatric care. The film ignited public debate and influenced reforms in several states. Then came The Heiress, where Olivia played a woman transformed by betrayal and humiliation. Her performance was a masterclass in restraint and psychological depth. In 1950, she won her second Best Actress Oscar, confirming what Hollywood had tried to deny. Her talent could not be contained. The final battle, protecting her own story. Even in her later years, Olivia refused to surrender her dignity. In 2017, at age 101, she sued FX Networks over the series Feud, objecting to its portrayal of her as petty and gossipy. The lawsuit was not a desperate attempt to win, but a statement. She would not allow her legacy to be distorted. Although the ruling was unfavorable, the case sparked a wider debate about image rights, ethical storytelling, and the responsibility of creators when depicting real people. In the years that followed, honors continued to arrive. The National Medal of Arts, France's Legion of Honor, and Britain's Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. These distinctions recognize not only her acting but her lasting impact on culture and industry. She remained firm in her privacy, refusing nostalgia circuits and public spectacle, living instead with quiet dignity. Outro, the legacy of freedom and quiet strength. Olivia de Havilland died in Paris in 2020 at age 104, the last surviving principal cast member of Gone with the Wind. Her passing did not feel like a sudden tragedy, but like a long, inevitable closing of an era. She left behind more than awards and iconic roles. She left a legacy of freedom, legal, artistic, and personal. Her court victory changed Hollywood forever. Her performances proved that strength could be expressed through restraint. Her life showed that dignity sometimes requires loneliness, and that the cost of freedom is often paid in silence. When people remember Olivia, they remember not only Melanie or Catherine, but a woman who refused to be owned, who stood up to power, and who held onto her identity no matter the price. She did not belong to Hollywood. Hollywood belonged to her.